I love a good steel road bike, and this is probably the best I've ever ridden. This is a brand new Fairlight Cycles Strael, and in this video, go through all the details on this lovely looking bike and go for a spin and see how it rides and performs. So if you enjoy watching the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, let's dive in. It's a bike that is both beautiful from a distance, thanks to its glorious orange paint job, a new colour match fork, and really smart solar inspired graphics along the top tube that look absolutely stunning in the sunlight today. Nice silver logo on the down tube as well. And then when you get up close, like I am now, you can admire the many details on this bike that really show the designer Dom Thomas's absolute attention and obsession to detail, like the dropouts, the new chainstays, and a brand new carbon fork. Now, many of you watching this video will be familiar with Fairlight Cycles, but if you're not, they're a small British bike brand launched in 2016 with the original Strael, a steel-framed, carbon-forked, four-season road bike designed to be as versatile as it is capable and fast. And this brand new Strael, 2 years in development, has many similarities with the original bike and the Mark II, but some really important, significant changes that really push the performance benefits of steel much further than ever before. So steel frame, carbon fork, and every tube is customized to Fairlight Cycles specification, tube dimensions you won't see on any other steel bikes. Starting with a lovely slender oversized Reynolds 853 top tube, a brand new Reynolds 853 down tube with a butting inside refined over the previous version, a chunky CNC machine head tube up front. But then the biggest change are the new chainstays. These are chainstays unlike any I've seen on a steel bike before, and their curvy, swoopy shape is something you'd expect on a carbon fibre bike, not a steel bike. And these brand new chainstays start life as a Reynolds 725 tube, and through a brand new process unique to Fairlight Cycles, the tube is squashed and shaped, designed to increase tyre clearance, improve vertical comfort with a bit more flex, and also stiffness for better power transfer. And they really are very unique, very shapely, quite a stunning attention to detail. So that process, that new manufacturing process, really shows the company is committed to pushing steel even further than before and not being held back by current manufacturing limitations. They're really investing in how they can make this material as good as it can be with new investments in technologies and manufacturing processes that haven't been used to shape steel in this way before. So the chainstays are brand new. Also brand new are the dropouts. Now, you might not give a dropout on a frame much more than a glance, but these are really worth a bit more of your attention. So they build on the original Strael and the Mark II Strael dropouts, but we now have a single modular CNC machined piece for the through axle and a flat mount caliper on the non-drive side. These plates on both sides of the dropouts, which act as an elegant washer for the bolts, now extends up to the eyelets for the mud guards and racks, so less scuffing of paint on the steel frame there. So really nice attention to detail. Now you might think dropouts are 5 minutes work, but I'm pretty sure that the designer, Dom Thomas, behind the bike has probably spent hours and hours and days really sweating the small details to get them absolutely perfect. And it really shows that attention to detail is phenomenal, and they are some of the prettiest dropouts I've seen on a road bike in a long time. And it's this obsession with details that on their own probably don't stand out, but altogether add up to create a package, a frame that really stands apart. And it's part of why the company has been so successful. And the reason I bought the Sacan, the gravel bike version of this, which you might see in my video linked above if you missed that. So lots of details. A few other details to point out as well. We have a 68mm threaded bottom bracket, 12mm through axles front and rear with flat mount brake calipers. We have external cable routing because function over form, and it's modular with different group sets and 1x, 2x as well. And then we have a brand new carbon fibre fork up front, brand new mould, and we now have full internal routing for a dynamo light as well as going in the frame. So if you want a dynamo setup, front and rear, for long distance audax and touring riding, this bike now accommodates it. The other big benefit from all these changes, from the new chainstays to that brand new carbon fork is much improved tyre clearance. So you now easily fit a 35 label tyre or up to a 36 measured tyre, and it does depend on the rim and tyre combination of course, but that's plenty of clearance for a wide tyre that most people like to run on what is a road bike at heart. Now some of you might be thinking that's wide enough to entertain a gravel tyre, and it might be, but Fairlight are really keen here to point out this is a bike designed for tarmac, for road riding, because they have the Cyclan, the gravel bike, which has clearance for up to a 50 or 57mm wide tyre. So that's a bike to choose for off-roading, for gravel riding. This is a road bike at heart, a bike designed for 100% tarmac. But all that said, I can see people fitting a file tread 35mm gravel tyre and really pushing the limits of their bike for maybe all road, kind of fine gravel, bridleways and that sort of riding. But just to remind you that this is designed as a road bike first and foremost, and not a bike that can also be a gravel bike as well. The other key detail which really set Fairlight apart when they launched back in 2016 is something they call proportional geometry. And simply put, they have two versions of each frame size, a regular and a tall head tube, so a higher or lower stack depending on your fit requirements. So there are 5 sizes from 51 to 61 and 2 versions for each frame size, giving 10 sizes in total. And the bike you see here is a 56R regular because I like it slammed. It's the same size as my Cyclan and I love the fit of the bike. And for reference, I'm 180 centimeters tall and the fit of the bike is absolutely bob on perfect for me. Nice amount of stretch to the hoods, but not overly aggressive, not too low at the front as well. I'll talk more about geometry in the ride section of this video coming up very soon. And that commitment to offering 2 versions of every frame size when they could more easily have offered only 5 sizes and kept the cost down and increased the profits really shows how they're prepared to go above and beyond what is expected of a small British bike brand. And that, along with the details, those chainstays, that real investment in a new manufacturing process and the obsessive attention to detail in the dropouts really does stand the bike apart from most other steel frames, and does go some way to justifying the price of the frame when compared to other options in the marketplace at the moment. But that's enough talk about geometry and features and details. Let's hit the road and go for a spin on this lovely sunny day and see how it performs and rides. I've got a lot of time for steel bikes. Even though I've ridden some of the best carbon fibre race bikes ever made, I still love a really nicely made steel frame. And for me, it's all about the ride quality, by which I mean the smoothness. And this bike is as smooth as it gets. Just buttery smooth over some of my roughest roads. It's just like riding on freshly laid tarmac all the time. It is a supremely nice ride. So good. But the bike isn't mushy and flexy, and all the work on the new chainstays, the beefy head tube, the down tube, top tube and that carbon fork ensure when you get the power on, this bike can really shift. And despite the weight, which is heavier than a carbon race bike, it still gets up to speed really well. The geometry gives good balance. You can really chuck it into a corner at high speed, feels so stable. Got a nice grippy GP 5000 tyres from Continental, the powerful Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, just supreme control in all situations. And a bike that really looks after you as well, which you want on a long ride when you're covering big miles over all sorts of terrain and road surfaces. It won't catch you out in any way, just solid, stable, so planted. It's so good, you can ride it with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back, although I don't recommend that at all. But that's how smooth and easy the bike is to ride. All very positive then. But if there's one negative, is that it's not the lightest bike in the world. Let's talk about weight for a minute. And while it's fair to say, if you're a weight weenie, you don't really choose a steel frame because it's not really the lightest option in the market compared to carbon fibre and other advanced materials, it's not quite as heavy as you might imagine. So a frame on its own is just under 2 kilos, and the fork painted with axle is 490 grams. I'll flash out the weights on the screen here. And a size 56 with this group set and specification, as you see it here, without pedals, weighs 8.9 kilograms, which is actually a really good weight for a steel frame with a sensible mid-range group set and components on it. And it's a weight that isn't much heavier than some carbon bikes I've ridden in the past with a similar level of kit on it. So pretty decent weight, it has to be said. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that heavy. And on some of my local climbs, I actually set some faster PRs than I have done in a long time, proving that weight really isn't everything. And the stiffness of the frame, those brand new chainstays, the chunky down tube and head tube, the carbon fork, really do help you get up climbs pretty damn quickly, even with me on it. There's no hint of the frame flexing or squirming underneath you, even when you load it up really hard in the corner, really using all the power of those hydraulic disc brakes. And it just absolutely flies down the hills. So much fun. I love the fact that companies like Fairlight Cycles and other examples are still fully committed and dedicated to steel bikes, and proving, if it were needed, there's still plenty of life left in the material yet. And let's also talk about price. And a frame set will set you back £1,299. And this bike, as you see it here, with the Hope headset and seat clamp upgrade, is just under £3,000. And I've been riding this bike for the last few weeks, and this is a really good balance of price, value and weight with the Shimano Ultegra mechanical disc brake group set, which is probably one of the best group sets you can buy. And you might see my video all about the group set, link above if you missed it. So really light shifting, really accurate, fast shifting, never misses a beat at all. Front and rear changes are lightning quick and very quiet as well. The hoods are ergonomic, the brake levers feel fantastic, and the hydraulic disc brakes with 160 rotors front and rear give plenty of power. I love the one finger braking in all situations, and it really suits a bike like this. So great gears, great brakes. What more do you want, really? Before I wrap up this review, is there anything I'd change about this bike? Well, not really. If I'm being picky, I would go for tubeless tyres, but I'm sure that's something that Fairlight could accommodate. And the other really picky thing is the bar tape. Not really a fan of this bar tape if I'm being really fussy. I know that is really fussy. But that aside, there's nothing I'll change. The Shimano Ultegra group set is flawless. Got really nice Hunt wheels that are solid and dependable. Nice FZ handlebar, nice compact drops, and a nice looking stem, and a super comfy fabric saddle. So yeah, it's all good. All very nice, all tippity top indeed. So that has been my review of the brand new Fairlight Cycles Strael. A bike, I'm sure it's clear now, is easy to fall in love with. It's a real showcase for the beauty and the benefits of a steel frame when done as well as this. And it really shows there's still plenty of life left in the material. Despite the advances from carbon fibre and other materials, steel really has a place in the world yet. It's a bike that's versatile, capable, fast and lovely to ride. A bike that really suits the demands of modern cycling, with wide tyres, mudguard mounts, disc brakes, that proportion geometry ensuring you can get the perfect fit. So really no compromises on this bike at all. Anyway, if you like the bike and you want to take a closer look and find out more, then do check out the company's website linked down below, and there's a nice detailed lookbook on there where you really get a lot more understanding of how the frame is designed from the brains of Dom Thomas, the person behind this bike himself. So really worth a look if you want to know more about the product, because I really just focus on the highlights of the bike. So a lot more detail there if you want it. And if you've got any questions, then do let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Anyway, that's all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you so much for watching.